And I work with some clients, I work with young clients, like adolescents up to 25. And some young people have this connection with this something. They always say things like, oh, this is really weird, Mike. You probably think I'm crazy when I say this. And when someone says that, I can feel myself moving towards them, that slightly, just, oh, yes. And I think this is interesting for me, because that's a part of them that I know that they're maybe not revealing to other people, maybe more private. There's a part but that is the part, I think, of the soul. You know, the bit that's, oh yeah, you probably don't, I saw my granny last night. She's been dead for 2 years, but I saw her, Mike, I saw her in the garden. It's like, wow, yeah, you saw her. And I believe she saw her, or he saw her. And and they'll talk about it in ways. And I'm interested in how people view life and death. But I'm not putting any religion on it. Like, it doesn't come from me. I don't know. I'm not religious. But I'm interested in someone's view of, so what do you think happens when your granny or your dad or your dog dies? And every young person I've ever worked with has that story. They know. It's a star in the sky. We light a candle. We see a feather, and it's my granny. I forgot to light a candle. I do this with most clients. I've got these wee plastic candles. I put it on. And I do it all the time, most of the time now. I did it first with this young person. He was 19 years old, and he doesn't talk much to people, and he was referred. And I'm quite good with adolescents, the ones that are sort of not that happy in the world. And I think with my youth work background, I've been able to, I feel quite comfortable. And so he comes in and he sits, and I'm saying, hi, how are you doing? And I have this on with me, and I say, I'm going to light a candle. And he says, what the fuck? I'm going to light a candle. I'll call him Graham. Graham, I don't know you, Graham. I don't know you. I've never met you before, but I know that there's a story I know a wee bit about you, but you've been referred, but I don't really know you. But what we talk about today is going to be important. I just know that it's going to be important. So I'm recognizing that importance. So I'm going to light this candle. And he was like, wow. Wow. No one had ever, he'd been in care. I've worked with a lot of young people who've been in care, so their families have been split. And he's had a hard time, but for someone before I even said it, he knows what his life is like. But for someone else just to recognize it, and I think the symbol of a flame, a candle, was important. Worked with other people with the candle. There's a lad at the end of the work, he went out and got a tattoo of a candle. He introduced me to it. He liked the idea. He told me, oh, it's like Francis of Assisi, Mike, he says. Oh, what do you mean? Oh, and he had the thing burning a light, and I don't know, when it's really dark, one light people will know it. But he loved that, and that was his and I did it with someone else recently. And she said, oh, that's hope. I said, wow. So we bring hope into the room. And then I tell the story of Pandora's box. And the way that my version, this is going into your territory. I don't have anything here but the history stuff of the Greeks. But my story is that Pandora was very curious, and she was told, don't open that box. Don't open that box. Whatever you do, don't open that box. So she was very curious spirit, and she opened it. And of course, things flew out. I don't know all the words, but rage, hate, anger, death, maybe, I don't know. Things that weren't in the world before, but she had opened it. And wow, did she run away from that. Oh, I don't want to tell you that. I've done that. Oh, my goodness, what have I done? And then I tell young people this, and they're at the edge of their seat. And I say, and then she got a row for it. Got a bit of a row from her dad. And then she went back, and she did the bravest thing ever. She'd opened that box and let all this horrible darkness out. So opening the box was a scary thing for her, and it ruined probably lots of stuff. But she was so curious and she was so brave that she went back to the box and opened it slightly. And then I'll say, do you know what came out? No, their mouths. Hope. Hope flew out. It's like, wow. So that's my version of the story. I don't know if there's other versions, but I love the idea that hope could fly out. But it was her bravery that went back to that, because you can imagine you've destroyed the world, probably. Don't do that again. And then you go back and you say, oh, just one more time. Oh.